Hello and welcome to PCSimulators.org. Today's video is going to be about one of the best aircraft add-ons for a flight simulator, and that is the Majestic software MJC8 Q400. So here we are, and these are the liveries available for the Bombardier Dash 8 or Q series, and we can have a look on a couple of them at the moment. So let's have a look. This is one for the Porter. Bring this around a bit. That's Qantas Link. And which one is this one? This is Wider Owen. I don't think I've heard of that one. Let's go over the top. SAS. You can see quite a few available for you to choose from. SATA. And what's this one? I can't really see that. I need my glasses. And let's have a look at this one. What's this one? It looks like a nice colour. Skywork. Let's go for the Skywork one. So click on OK. And let's change airport. So let's go to an airport haven't been before. Let's try Paris. And so City Paris in France. Charles de Gaulle. Let's go Charles de Gaulle. Okay, so we're going to load it up at Charles de Gaulle, and we'll be back in a few seconds once it's loaded. Okay, so here we are. It's loaded up, and we are in the cockpit of the Q400-8 by Majestic software. Now, I've known that this aircraft is held in high regard by many in the flight sim community, and I can see why. The detail in the cockpit is absolutely phenomenal. Look at that. Either FMCs, there's plenty of dials and buttons which are functional as well. So even this autopilot button here, look, you can see that's you can click that, and you've got the dials and the buttons, and most of them have functions. We're not going to go into detail of what each of these does because you'd need a very long video for that. We're going to spend 10 minutes a day having a look at the aircraft, flying it, making a circuit of the airfield, seeing the graphics, seeing the sound, and see how it looks like in general. So this is not a video tutorial for how to fly it, but we will look at making some tutorials in the near future for it. So if you go up to the overhead panel, you can see again the switches to start the power and the ice protection there, and over here we have the exterior lights, the engine start, which we're going to use in a minute to start the engines, the APU, etc., and the fasten seatbelts. We're going to put the fasten seatbelt sign on, and we are going to dim the switches. Oops. Oh, there you go. Oh, test the switches, is it? That looks like a test switch, is it? Let's have a look. Advisory test, yeah, that's right. So we're going to start the engines. Let's look at the outside as well before we go, and let's get a bigger picture here. So change here. Let's go to the outside spot view, and this is it from the outside. Let's close this window so it doesn't get in your way. And there are the textures on the outside of the aircraft. Here at Charles de Gaulle, you can see if we zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, it does lose a little bit of resolution as you zoom in, but you're not going to really look at it from that close an angle anyway. But as you can see, even the treads on the tires, you've got the treads on the tires, the wheels, the propellers. Let's spin it around to the other side, and if we can look inside, you can see the pilots there. There's two of them. I thought he's waving at us then, but he's not. He's just checking something. So you can actually move his seat. It says move seat there. Okay. And there's the APU, which is giving us power at the moment. Great tyres on here though. I always look at the tyres because that gives you an indication. You know, if you're going to get sloppy, you just put tyres on it with no detail. But that's great. It's like the rotor blades on a helicopter. The attention to detail can be seen when you look at small things like that. So let's just spin it around and zoom out a little bit, and we get an overview of the aircraft as it looks graphically and texture wise. The sounds, you can hear the sounds of the APU and the propeller spinning slowly, very authentic. Different pitches of sound. And let's go to the back and look at the tail. Right, so if we go here now and have a look at some more views, we go to the let's go to the aircraft view. We've got about 4 other views. You can see that's from the inside near the engine. And if we go to the other side, Let's have a look. Right side. Aft view, so that gives you another view. I can't see any passenger views here at the moment. I'll have to check on that, see if there are any passenger views. Okay, so that's the outside view. Let's go back inside the cockpit. Okay, and we're going to start the engine. So to start the engine, we are going to put these engine 1 into normal and engine 2. We're going to start engine 1 first. And let's have a look outside to see if it's starting. There we go. One of the engines should be starting up. There we go. There you see it firing up. Look at that. Great animation on that as it starts from slow speed and goes higher and higher. Another great attention to detail. Let's go back into the cockpit and see if we can start engine 2. To start engine 2, you right click that, go to the other side and hold the button. And that engine 2 should start as well in a few seconds. There you go. See it go. So what we can do as well. So look at the sound. That is one of the best sounds I've heard in an aircraft in any sim I've been testing in the last couple of months. You can hear it. Look at that. You said that thundering noise of the engines. Brilliant. And you can see the speed difference now as well. You see that the propeller there is going a bit slower than that one because it started later. Now it's speeding up. Brilliant, brilliant attention to detail. Okay, so we can also look at the other views while we're here that I showed you earlier. And we go to the, there you can see the engine here from, oops, we don't want it to go anywhere. You can see the engine there from the inside spinning. Okay. And let's have a look at another view before we take off. Aircraft, left propeller view, look at that. So it gives you an idea of the engine's right up. As I said, as you get close to this texture, it does seem to lose resolution, but it's not a big issue because obviously you're not going to really look at it that close anyway. Okay, so we're ready to take off, and we're going to do a lap of the we're going to do a lap of Charles de Gaulle and then land. So bear with us. Okay, so just need to check the flaps are working. We're going to put the flaps down. Oops. Zoom in out a bit. There we go. See the flaps going down here? They're working. Put them down again. It's ready for takeoff. So let's see how it flies. Okay, we're ready to take off in a few seconds. Just give you a few stats about this particular aircraft, and it's obviously been around for quite a while now. In fact, since 1983 was its first flight, and it's still in production and used by a number of airliners, including Flybe, Jazz, Horizon Air, and it was produced in 1983, yeah, and there's about 1,242 built, and if you want to buy one, they cost you about $32.2 million. So there you go, start saving. Okay, right, so let's see if we are ready to take off. Let's make sure everything's in order. My pedals are working, yep. And my stick is working. Okay. Right, so this aircraft goes about 535 miles an hour, brakes off. Engines engaged, and off we go. Track IR back on. Increase power. Oh, listen to that roar, eh? Look at that. And also, as you can see, as I'm going down the runway, you can hear the sort of vibrations of the cabin. You hear that? Brilliant. The detail is absolutely brilliant, not just in the way the aircraft looks and sounds, but the flight model as well, as you'll see now as we take off. Oh, nice and smooth. Look at that. Perfectly smooth. So we're in the air, we're airborne. And let's look out the window. And we need to put our gears up and our flaps up in a second, so let's go to lock spot. NASA's taking off. Gears in. Majestic. Actually majestic, isn't it? Let's get back in the cockpit. Majestic is the name of the company which makes the software, and this aircraft, I gotta say, is majestic. Excuse the pun. But let's get a new view so we can see the outside view as well as we're flying. Lock spot. There we go. So, very responsive on the controls. There's no issues with any juddiness. I've got two windows open. I'm getting about 35 frames a second as well, which is good. So we're going to just do a lap of this circuit of this Charles de Gaulle Airport. You can see there on the left. And a bit cloudy today here in Paris. Oh, let's turn this warning sound off. A lot of the systems as well in this aircraft.
2500.
A lot of systems in this aircraft are simulated. You've got the FMC there in the center console. The flight model is very accurate. Okay, so this is the outside view that we're looking at the aircraft from. We have a few features that we want to mention. There's a custom flight dynamics engine, a weather radar, TCAS, FMS navigation, obviously the virtual cockpit and external models, liveries which we've seen, passenger announcements, saving and loading system state which is quite useful, custom sound system, add-on control panel applications, shared cockpit is featured as well, that comes with it, customizable failure system, random failures to make it more realistic, the head-up guidance system, sound, autopilot TCS mode, 2D panels as well for those of you who like 2D panels, multi-monitor cockpit as well, rain simulation, and training manual and custom flight date recorder. So we're not going to go into all those today because we're not going to have time, but there you can see how much detail is included with this aircraft, so it's well worth it if you're thinking of getting it. From my point of view, I think the sound system to me is one of the best sounds I've heard for any flight sim, and any aircraft add-on is absolutely fantastic. The noise of the propellers, the fact that you've got the switches in there, it's not difficult to start the aircraft. If you're a newbie, as you can see, you can just press the engine button, select your engines, but there is a cold start procedure as well, and there's plenty of tutorials available on the internet for that. So it looks great. You've got the pilots with it as well, and we've got some passenger announcements and as well that it's included, as well as some hardcore features like some of the flight navigation systems, etc. So overview of it, I think graphics wise it's great. I mean, the textures do sort of stretch a little bit when you go in a bit close, but as I said, you're not going to really go in that close all the time. The sound system is fantastic. The amount of features available, as a newbie you can take off and fly, so it's good for people who just want to fly the aircraft, and those who are very experienced as well and want a true hardcore sim. So as you can see for yourself, you know, you can see the graphics are fantastic. The aircraft feels very good, very responsive. It's easily responds to my inputs. The control methods are easy to set up. I'm using my fighter stick and my pedals and my pro throttle, and they all work fantastic. I had no issue setting them up. And the frame rate, as you can see at the moment, is 62 frames a second from outside. We're going to go check a couple of other views and see what it looks like as well from those views. So click on change this, go to the virtual cockpit. Oh. Sorry about that. That's what you get for trying to do a video and fly externally as well. So this is the cockpit view, and we're getting about 30, is it 40 frames a second? Let's just hide that menu and see.
1000.
Let's hide the menu. About 38 frames a second, as you can see, with the cockpit. And no, actually gone up to 42 now, so that's good. there's the cockpit view. And let's see if we add some more windows, and let's do let's go back to the hide menu. I click on view, new view, so we'll go outside spot and a new view again, flyby. So we're getting a couple of views here and seeing if this actually slows down greatly. Outside top down view. So we've got a couple of views here happening.
2500.
And what am I getting? About 20 frames a second, so it's still not slowing down. The performance is very, very good. And we've got 3 different windows open here as well. So let's close that window. And let's close that window. So you can see there the performance is very good as well. Back now I get 44 frames a second. As you can see, very misty today. So that is the takeoff, that's the cockpit, that's a view of the performance as well with how many windows are open. So what we're going to do now, we're going to land, and I'll pause the video here and I'll come back when we're on final approach. So, back in a few seconds. Okay, so as you can see we are approaching the Charles de Gaulle runway, and this will end our flight on that runway with a lovely safe landing. So we should be touching down in a few minutes, or 2 or 3 minutes I'd say. Let's just line up towards the runway, reduce a bit of power. Let's get some flaps down. And it's been a joy to fly this Q400. It's very responsive. It has lots of functionality in the virtual cockpit. The animations are great.
1000.
There we go. Let's concentrate on our landing now. We are doing a manual landing, no ILS at the moment. We're just using a manual landing because we like a challenge here at PC Simulators. And we should be touching down in about 2 minutes hopefully. Using a CH
500.
fighter stick joystick, which we find very precise. There are others on the market as well which do a good job and cheaper. Thrustmaster and the Logitech are 2 good controllers.
100.
Zatec. There we go. I'm going to line this up now a bit more.
Minimums. Minimums. Too low. Flaps. Too low. Flaps.
Okay, so we're coming to land.
Too low. Flaps.
Yes, we know that, but we are looking
Too
good
low.
to land
Flaps.
in the center.
Too low. Flaps. Too low. Flaps. Too low. Flaps.
Not a bad landing. Get reverse thrust on. Okay, so let's have a look at that replay and see what it looked like. So instant replay at 60 minutes, 60 seconds. So we have a look at the replay of our landing. There's the lock spot view. Look at that, it's majestic, isn't it? I've said this, and they've said this already, but it's a fantastic aircraft. It looks fantastic, doesn't it? So here we are coming to land. This is about the 3rd time we've landed this particular aircraft, and it's not easy, but it's not difficult. You just need to concentrate. Let's see what our landing was like. Coming in to land at Charles de Gaulle. Not bad at all. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. and see it come to a stop. Fantastic. Okay, so that is the Majestic Q400 for P3D version 4 by Majestic Software.